It is time for one of the best parts of the show, where we get to interview some amazing people. Now, Reginald Jumbo is a Nigerian filmmaker who has his debut film, The Interrogation of Lutana, selected for 9 festivals around the world. He has won the RTF Film Festival for Best Nollywood Short Film and was nominated for Best African Short Film of the recently concluded AFRIF. We have the amazing Jumbo in the studio. Jumbo, how you doing?
Very fine. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was really awesome to have you here. How you doing? I really love the hair. Is that a trademark or something?
I've had it for like 2 years now, but I think I'm gonna lose it now because my barber is telling me my hairline is gonna.
Your hairline is giving you back.
Yeah, so I think this might be my last, or maybe a couple more. But
all right,
yeah.
we cannot wait to see what you'll probably be doing in the next phase of your social media life.
Yeah, I mean, I keep dreads. So
dreads.
It's not possible. It's not possible. But it's just an idea.
All right, so you're an amazing filmmaker. And you have a short, interesting movie, But I want to ask you, when you write movies, all right? When you write movies, do you write for yourself or do you write for people?
So when I write, most filmmakers will say they write for themselves, but I always try as much as possible to keep the audience in my head. For every scene I write or every line of dialogue I write, I always think about what would the audience feel, how would the audience react to this. And so I would say most of my films are designed for people, not just for me.
All right. Just before we continue, I think we have video we need to show. Let's see it. Wow. Amazing trailer over there.
Thank you very much.
I just, I always love the use of sound, amazing actors. Yeah. And it's interesting that we have something like that to always, go back to when we want proper movie being done.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about the creation of the short film. How did it happen from the concept stage into production as well?
So the short film is a proof of concept. So we had this idea of we wanted to create this world, and when we were thinking about it, we now came up with the short. So let me just tell you the story about the short. So the film is set in this dystopian world where is run by the supreme leader. After a coup, he conquered the entire republic and he runs it with like an iron fist. He's like a tyrant. And at some point, there is a rebellion that is building up in the east. So as the rebellion is growing, he sent one of his very trusted commanders, Captain Aldo, to go to the east and neutralize the threat. So he has to capture the leader of the rebellion, Zuru Nkwo, and kill him or something. So when he goes there, the operation was supposed to be maybe like a week or two, a very short operation, but then he finds it very difficult for him to actually carry out the task. So it takes months and months and months, and he's getting desperate and frustrated.
Oh, wow.
And so at some point, an information got to him from a mole he kept. An information got to him that Zuru is about to leave town and is leaving town in 2 days. But then there's somebody in particular that has the location of Zuru, and that is Lutana. So Captain Aldo and his team, they kidnapped Lutana, and the film follows them through the interrogation of Lutana. But it has, a couple twists here and there. Yeah. So I don't want to ruin it for the audience, but once you watch it, you get it.
So I also doing my research, I found out that this is meant to be a bridge for the feature film.
Yeah.
So tell me about the feature film. What's the feature? Is the feature film going to talk more about what happens from the result of Lutana? Okay,
so one thing we did with this short is we introduced most of our characters that are in the future. So we have a prequel and a sequel. So for the prequel, it follows the story of Supreme Leader, how he got to power. So it just really follows us towards his villain arc. So when we meet him, he's a good guy, but certain incidents happened that transformed him into a villain. And one of the interesting things we did is, so like I said, a prequel and a sequel. So the prequel is set in the north.
2 movies?
Yeah.
2 movies,
yeah.
lovely.
So the prequel is set in the north. So we wanted to explore different areas and different themes as well. So the prequel is set in the north. And the villain for the prequel is a jihadist, so it's an Islamic extremist.
Wow.
And then the sequel is set in the east. So the sequel will have more of a lost jungle kind of vibe where they are hunting for a revolutionary, which is Zuru Nkwo.
That's deep. That's deep and insightful. All right, so I'm also just thinking here, is the plan to put this on the streaming platforms like Netflix, or are you planning to take it to cinema?
So for now, we don't have investors yet for the film.
What is the dream? Is the dream cinema? Or
Cinema. I'm a big lover of cinema. One of the reasons I like cinema is when you go to cinema, you have to sit down. You have a gigantic screen. The sound, the ambience, everything is built for an experience. I believe film is supposed to be an experience for people. So the sound and everything is just designed for an experience. Unlike when you watch it on Netflix, at some point you're distracted with your phone.
So do you think that streaming platforms like Netflix and the rest are ruining the experience?
No, not at all, not at all, not at all.
Are meant to receive from the cinema?
Not at all. I think they are both different experience, but either ways, they are still a good way of consuming films and consuming content as well too. I don't think so at all.
All right. I mean, it's also very interesting, when it comes to casting.
Yeah.
When you write a movie, because I know you wrote the short film, did you have some characters in mind to play certain roles, or you just said, you know what, whoever plays it should be able to interpret?
Well, when I was writing, so when I started writing this short, the main character was supposed to be Lutana, but then the more you dive into understanding your characters, the story changes. And so the main character now became Aldo, which is the commander, because the story just felt more intimate. He was a man that left his family. He hasn't seen his family in a long time. He just craves to go back home. And here he's in another land where he's not used to anything and he's not used to people.
And that is what the pre-sequel of the movie would probably focus more on, his story, yes?
So no.
Okay.
So the prequel is going to focus on the supreme leader. That's the leader of the entire republic, how he got to power. But Aldo is one of his trusted men, so Aldo's story is going to be weaved into it as well too.
Oh, nice.
But this one now really focuses on Aldo and his struggle of wanting to go back home, but then he has to carry out this operation before he goes back home. So he has to devise like creative ways on how to figure everything out and fix it.
All right, so were there moments when you, after writing the movie, during production, that you had to just change during production because of one or two issues, and you couldn't just see happening, come to life? What are those moments like? I'm sure there were scenes you wished, after writing, I wish we could just do it this way.
So one of the interesting things is during productions, you get to, because the actors I got, they are fantastic actors, and they are very experienced actors, unlike me. This is like my first shot. So when you start having conversations with the actors, because they've studied this character and they've done their research as well. So you have conversation with them and you talk about, oh, this is how we want the character to be, and they're like, no, I think the character should go this direction. And mostly it's a dialogue, so you guys get to hear your ideas and you guys to brainstorm. A lot of Captain Aldo was really designed and was really designed by the guy that played it, William Benson.
Oh wow, yeah, he's an amazing actor.
He's an amazing actor. He really uplifted the character, because when we talk about the character, a lot of things changed in terms of his mannerism, how his emotional state. Just the way he embodies the character, it changed a lot. And same thing applies to Cassie Edima, the person that played Lutana as well too. He brought a different twist as well to the character as to what I had envisioned before. So it just if it was like a 3, they elevated it to like a 6 or awesome.
Okay, whenever I get to interview filmmakers, I always love to ask them this question: do you think that the censorship board is in any way reducing the experience and creating some form of limitations to how far we want to go with our stories? Do you think,
So for me,
because if you have some form of military error in this, I'm sure there are some things you probably want to do, but do you think there's some limitation from the censorship board?
So for me, I always try to tell people that filmmaking is a global art. And if the censorship board is restricting you in Nigeria, it's a global art. You could still have your story done somewhere else, and you could still air it in other places as well too. A story is an idea, and if you have that idea, you could, the same story that is told in America, it's just the experience might be different, but the same story that is told in America and South Africa can still be told in Nigeria as well. It's just the experience is just going to be a little bit different. So you're just going to weave the experience to seem more like a Nigerian experience. I wouldn't say, I haven't experienced it myself, so I wouldn't say the censorship board is limiting in any way, because I haven't experienced that myself. But I don't think so.
All right. So if you had to choose between bad script, good film, or good film, bad script, what would you rather have?
There's no such thing as a film with a bad script. If you have a bad script, you can't make a film.
All right.
Because the idea of
there are a couple of people that have said, when they read the script, other filmmakers said when they read the script, they didn't like the script, but they were able to turn and make the script an enjoyable experience. So I'm just wondering, as a filmmaker yourself, are you saying there you haven't read scripts that were not properly written?
Well, I have read a couple.
Okay.
And most times I would reach back to the producer that sent it to me and say, yo, this script is not ready for production yet. You need to take...
That's how you put it. It's
yeah,
not ready.
it's not ready for production yet.
Okay.
You need to take some time and, go back to the drawing board and develop it. Because the idea is, we're in a digital world and people's attention span is shorter. So if you're going to tell someone to sit down for an hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours to watch your film, you have to be able to keep them all through. And if you can't do that, even when I made my shorts, I would have people, I would invite people to come over to my space and I'd play it for them. I'll just sit behind them and I'd watch. And I'm looking at the point where they just feel
all right. So how do you, for those that want to watch the movie, how do they get to watch it?
It's on YouTube. You just search for Interrogation of Lutana. You say.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
It's on YouTube.
All
you just search for Interrogation of Lutana.
And you see that the full movie is on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a short film. It's like 11 minutes, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
So we have something amazing for you in the kitchen.
Oh, really?
And we want you to try it and tell us what you think. Can we go to the kitchen together?